Hi, welcome to episode 62 of GrandLine Grinders Podcast. This week we are again with favorite Anime Villian, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the first power rankings of OP17 and kind of discussing, top contenders coming up this next set. Get you prepped up, ready for basically the Coliseum, right? Because that's coming up, I think, within the next few months. So
Next month,
yep.
yes.
So we definitely need to discuss this now. Hopefully, we can maybe get you the best decks to get you prepared for it, because it's going to take you a little bit to get enough rips in with the deck that you may be choosing for it. So, how have you been this week, favorite Anime Villain?
Just another week. Nothing new going on.
Nothing new. Hopefully, you've been playing some OP13 or 17. Oh my gosh, I'm like out of it.
No, I haven't really played any One Piece till last week.
Hmm. I'm still trying to decide which deck I want to go with next set. For the October, which should be the next round of Store Championships. I'm thinking I might go with the second deck, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm most likely not going to be able to play any
Oh
in
no?
any of the store events. I'm probably going to have to judge them. Same shit that happened last time.
Hmm. So let's go ahead and dive right in, discuss the power rankings. Okay, so Zebek has the highest win rate and highest rating with a pretty good sample size. With
It doesn't have the highest win rate, but yes.
okay, yeah, barely slightly under when it comes to Sabo, which I should say it's like Elbis Sabo. But so still pretty good solid win rate, especially since people argue this deck is very difficult to pilot. And the fact that it's having this high of a win rate, that high of a difficulty of a ceiling, is a good sign, I guess, for a very quick turnaround. And then Ace is second when it comes to rating and decent amount of sample size, right? Of 18,000 games, almost 19. So, what do you think about Sabak?
It's a good deck. Draws a lot of cards.
This is true. I know a lot of people are talking about the event. I think some people are playing one or two of it, just so that way they can kind of do that combo with Captain John.
I think that shit is so cheese. The deck is good without doing the Usopp event.
I agree. You probably don't need it, but I do
No,
think.
like you definitely don't need it. The best, like, say you're going second, you get the John down on 4. Then in order to be able to use the event on 6, you're not playing Newgate. In order to play the event on 8, you're not playing a second Newgate or Shiki. In order to play it on 10, you're doing an 8 Dawn turn. Like, it can win you over games like late game by just like playing around it. But also, if your opponent just runs any board removal, like removal effects, the John is also toast. Like, yeah, they have the Keo or whatever his name is, but like they're ideally trying to like ramp up the bodies that they're playing each turn. And like Stussy generates a lot of value, so you're trying to establish a Stussy or two. You're trying to get the John out. You need the new gate out. That only leaves one more character. And like you're probably gonna play over the Keo or however you pronounce his name. Like a lot of decks are running like, Enel runs spot removal. Yellow has Black Dragon, Black Rope Twister, whatever it is. The 6 cost that removes 2 characters. Like there's just a lot of outs for Captain John. I don't think that combo's that good when you could just like stick double Newgate into Shiki and probably win regardless.
Yeah, yeah. It really depends on the matchup because I mean the matchup I seen somebody actually run it in was against Kaido, and if he didn't use the event, he would have lost. But it's like I don't know. there's such weird situations. What do you think about Ace? Is Ace a legit
I think
contender now?
Ace is like fine, but I don't. I think once you just know, the thing that like makes Ace good is that it has the 12k body for 6 Dawn, and you get to give it Rush. But that like falls apart as soon as your opponent knows how to play around it. Like from an L standpoint, you just don't play an L. Like you just wait to drop your Nell until they hit their 10 Dawn turn, or like they're at their 8 Dawn turn going into their 10 Dawn turn. And at that point, like you probably don't even need the NL. So it's like it's really easy to just play around Ace. And if you play around the 10-12 Newgate that buffs your leader, that's like the one thing that's really bringing Ace into relevance, is that you get to cheat that out for so much like reduced value. I guess it's good into Mihawk though. I think that's like why it's making splashes from what I've heard.
Yeah,
But it's fine.
I think it has a pretty decent matchup spread for a deck list. I don't. There is one deck it struggles into. Isn't it Sabo? I think he struggles with Sabo, if I'm not mistaken.
I have no idea. I haven't looked at the power rankings.
Sadly,
like
they don't have the spread for 17. They have 16.5.
Oh, weird.
But they don't have 17. Sabo, like this is like we're gonna get in it a little bit later, but my issue with with the Luffy is like I don't even think he's the best leader for his package. So
no, Luffy gets to utilize a lot of the things because it just gets to be defensive, but I think Sabo is a much better like engine for most of the Elbaf stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think even then Sabo has some like pitfalls. Like the only thing, like it sounds dumb because Luffy just gets to be defensive, but without that defensive edge, Sabo also kind of crumbles. Like when I'm looking at my opponent's board and it's like a Saul and a Loki, but neither of them are blockers, I'm not really that worried about them.
Yeah, it's more of the other guys are just 6k bodies now. Like they.
Yeah, that's annoying. And then like, sure, the Rush Luffy gets to swing for 9, and the Loki gets to swing for 9, and the Saul gets to swing for 7. Like it gets to be like a more aggressive version.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried that much about that.
Yeah, it's more of the fact that like now it takes even less Dawn commitment, right, to swing neutral potentially, depending on the matchup. I mean, to get to 7 isn't really that hard.
Yeah, but you also are like still kind of struggling early game. Like even your perfect curve, you're on to dropping like Usopp, and I'm talking about in Sabo. You drop your Usopp, then you drop a Saul. You have no Dawn attached to your leader.
Yeah, you don't.
Then you go into 6 and you drop a Loki. You still have no Dawn attached to leader. Ideally, going into 8, you're dropping the Rush Luffy. You still have nothing attached to leader.
Yeah, you're right in the regards that it does make it a little bit awkward for Sabo to even attack in the early game, right? Because he's a 4k leader for the first few turns. So if you're playing a 2-drop, you can't really swing. Or the 4-Dawn turn, if you play 2-2-drops, well, you still can't swing with a leader until you take 2 life. So
like the Elbaf package is so synergistic with Sabo, but it's also like a huge hindrance to what you actually need for the deck. And like a lot of matches that I've played into Elbaf Sabo, they're not running the 4-cost promo Sabo anymore, and they're definitely not running the 6-cost Sabo.
Yeah, they're not. They're just strictly playing the Luffy. I think they play Luffy. Maybe they don't because he's 8-drop. I don't know. But I know. Yeah, they play the Saw and they play the Loki.
They definitely play the Luffy as well. At least like a handful of the lists that I've played into.
I mean,
have definitely been on the Luffy as well.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. It's just like a
Exactly, and like it just spits out a 2-cost for free also. So
yeah, that annoying Brook. That card is...
yeah, I did actually lose to an Elbaf engine like recently that triple brooked me for game.
That card is something else, isn't it?
It's pretty good. It's a good card.
And then we have arguably the cheapest deck probably out of the top 10 here with Linlin at 4th. I gotta imagine this deck is going to be super cheap on paper. Like,
probably.
I mean, you only have one SR in your deck. It's like Yamato, except yellow. But what do you think about
Yamato had 2 SRs.
He had two, yes.
I think Linlin's fucking ass. I don't think it's that good of a deck.
I mean, I'm kind of indifferent on it. I'm going to be playing it more this week, but she seemed okay. Like, I don't think her package is that good outside of Linlin. From
I don't.
Tested so
I
far.
think the deck that utilizes the package the best is maybe like Pudding, and even then, I think it's like mediocre as fuck. Well, it's just a bunch of bodies that can't swing neutral. You either have to dedicate your turn to playing a body to heal or attaching Dawn to swing neutral until you get to 10 Dawn. But by the time you get to 10 Dawn, I have you at 1 life. So you're either playing a Linlin and healing, because, like, again, you're at 1 life. I'm probably at, like, 4. You're playing a Linlin to heal, and then you're swinging 8. But again, I'm at 4 life and a grip of cards in hand, so...
Yeah, that's actually the reason why I think that Pudding is bad with her support. I played it, and, like, so the problem is, like, you can't really be that aggressive with Pudding because of the fact that all their bodies are 4,000 power. And every single card, for the most part, is a 1k counter. Your opponent is swinging 6s and 7s, so you have to pitch 2 cards to get out of a swing. And your life gets drained so fast playing the Linlin package, playing with Pudding. I don't think it's that great, in my opinion.
I don't think the engine is that good in general. I just think Pudding is one of the decks that can utilize it a little bit better, because you can play 6-cost Katakuri for 2, and you can ramp to 10 quick. It's still bad. I'm just saying it's better.
Yeah, basically the only way that it would work with Linlin is you would have to get that Katakuri on your 8-on turn to be able to hold off some of the aggression, the 8-cost Katakuri. Otherwise, I just can't imagine it. It was such a struggle to get some wins with it. Maybe that's just me. But I had to try it out because it's purple. But, And Mihawk's sitting here about 50% win rate. Not really, like, that impressive, but I know everyone's arguing that it's, like, one of the best decks in the format. What do you think about it?
I think it is. I think it's one of the best decks. I think the meta's going to shake different than what it is right now. Like, I don't think Linlin is a better deck than Mihawk.
But what's causing you to think its lower win rate? Because, I mean, it's not that hard of a deck to pilot. So it wouldn't be that causing it. And plus, it's been out forever.
I don't know. People testing out Sabo and people testing out Ace to a larger degree. Well, I guess not Sabo. There's more Mihawk testing than Sabo, but
yep.
Ace is supposed to be a pretty hard counter. I don't know, because Mihawk, a lot of Mihawk lists are also not running Luna right now. I'm happy about that, but also at the same time, I think it's stupid because Zebek pretty much dies to Luna.
Yeah, I mean, also a lot of people are testing out Kaido, which is also, I think, pretty good into the deck. Luffy, I think, is going to be the one that's going to be falling out of here. I gotta imagine. Maybe it's just me.
You think it's going to fall out? I don't think so. I think Luffy's a good deck.
I think I may be wrong, but my personal opinion, I think it's the worst of the new leaders. That's just me. I know.
I absolutely
it might be crazy.
Think you're wrong for 2 reasons. 1, Linlin is a shit deck. 2, Kaido is a shit deck.
Kaido's
and
not
3, Newgate isn't even on this top 10 listing.
I think he just kind of gets... People would rather just play Ace which
because
is fair.
Ace is a better Newgate leader, yes, for sure. And also circling back, Kaido is mediocre as fuck. I know you're so pilled on this shit, but it's not a good deck.
I mean, after I listened to other people talk about it as well. I mean, technically, Kaido does win into Zabak. It's pretty solid into Ace.
So?
And it beats Mihawk. So, I mean, like, it literally does beat up the top decks. So, I would not put this deck that low.
It also loses to itself 7 out of 10 times.
I don't think it's that high. I mean, so I don't know. Like, it's one of those weird situations. I think Kaido.
It has the worst win percentage on the entire top 10.
Yeah,
even marginally, it is still the worst performing deck on this list. I have no hope for it. I don't think it's very good. I have lost to very few Kaidos on multiple different decks. Like, I have not a lot of faith in it. I think it's cheeks. You can have your opinion. I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really care. I don't think it's a good deck. I'm not going to respect it as a deck.
I mean, it definitely is up for discussion. Like, which purple deck is the best one here? I mean, Kaido, and now I don't think no one's really testing it. They probably will start testing it when it gets closer to preparing for the Coliseum. Because I got to imagine the nail is going to show up a certain amount of number there. So
most likely,
yeah. And then I don't know if Katakuri is third string or if it's second string. Kakata is like the other purple deck.
I think Katakuri is better than Kaido.
I just don't. The issue with Katakuri is he just is kind of bad into some of these top decks. Kaido has above win rate into him, so like it's probably better against the floor, like in most of the meta. Like if you're bringing it to a big tournament, but Kaido has the better matchups into the best decks in the format.
Kaido has what we perceive to be a better matchup for the first week and a half that these cards have been available to play.
Yeah, there's also in the caveat, I guess, technically, a lot of Kaido's main support didn't show up until later, so, like, this win rate could be dragged down by the fact that, well, we didn't really get the Kaido support right away, and you're playing with a partial made deck. So, like, I don't know. We'll see how it shakes up by next week, but... And then there's Goofy, Boa showing up here, which Boa makes a lot of sense. I think it's probably better, I think, into this meta than Nami is. I could be wrong. What do you think?
I have no idea. I don't know where Boa stands. I've heard that Nami is supposed to fall off, so yeah, Boa's probably good in that regard. If Zabek is like one of the best decks, Boa just spams a bunch of 5k bodies, which is very strong into Zabek, so
yeah, and then you have the life burn. They can't really punish you with Shiki as much because they swing board, and then they take life for swinging a board. I can see that. I can see that argument actually, right? Because if you punish their best card in their entire deck, which is Shiki, or Newgate second best.
The thing is, having one good matchup in a meta, a good deck does not make.
That is true.
So like it really just depends on how the meta like forms. But yeah, I could see Boa being fine. Like it gets to be a little defensive and it gets to punish people, and its worst matchup isn't in the meta anymore.
Yep. And of course, we can talk more about it now into the next section. You ready to switch gears?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's prepare for the Coliseum.
Oh my god, I hate tier lists so much.
I know you do.
But would have been really cool to have like a heads up about this being what we were doing tonight.
We probably won't get into that many decks today. Honestly, there's not that many that are up for discussion. I mean, this is probably an A deck. Honestly, like, do you think Linla could get top 32? I would say so, right?
I think someone is gonna skis their way with Yellow Slop into making top 32 with Linlin. Yes, I think almost any yellow deck at any time outside of maybe Vegapunk is able to top 32. The Flame Coliseum, actually, I retract that.
You
I like
retract that?
a regular regional for sure. Like Yellow can just slop its way in, but like I don't know. It depends on what good players are in the Flame event.
So we definitely know these are all going to be up for discussion. I think, honestly, this is probably right here. Or
I
here.
don't think a lot of people are going to be playing Shanks. I think too many people are playing Mihawk.
Yeah, I was up for debate if this deck could even top 64, like in a massive tournament.
Like it could probably, but like I think it needs to. I think the meta needs to be a little bit slower where we build towards playing like tall guys. Whereas right now the meta is like a fast, wide meta. I also think 17 Luffy could definitely top 32. I think it could potentially even top 8. Like I think you're underutilizing it. I think you are shitting on it like to a worse degree than I am shitting on Kaido. Like I'm
I've
shitting
faced
on
it.
Kaido the way that I do because it's not that good of a deck. You're shitting on Luffy because you're not seeing the utilization of the cards and then just also being able to be defensive. Like
I've
it might not have a crazy leader effect because it just gets to make blockers of its cards, but that means it
yeah.
just gets to make you swing into a doofus.
I have faced this deck a lot. It's one of the ones that I mainly try to find. I try to find any of the new leaders to test into, but my god, is this leader so easy to win? That's just
It
my
can be,
experience.
depending on what you're playing into, but also start playing more ranked, dude. Like find viable people running Black Luffy and like it will change your tune on whether or not it's good. Is it the best Elbath package? I don't think so. I think Sabo's still a little bit better. But like
Yeah, that's
it's
another reason why I would bring it down a notch because I don't think it's even the best one for its package. Um, so why play this when you should be playing the better deck, which is I would say S tier.
I don't know if I agree with Sabo being S tier. Some people will say it is, but I think it still has some glaring weaknesses.
I mean, fair. I mean, I think Saba's a very much higher, better deck than this deck right now. Like,
I don't think it's that much better.
and it also because I guess there's what. There's like what 3 cards that replace themselves in this deck. Like honestly, it's not that hard to burn their resources. What I've experienced so far, which is what I've. I mean, it's so it kind of feels it does definitely draws more than something like what Shanks used to be, with being a Pillow Fort grindy deck. It does more than that, but it's just that's not a very good. It's not a very good thing to be compared against, honestly.
I think it has a linear curve that it's trying to do, but again, it just gets to do everything defensively and like it actively gets to play out very cheap, high cost blockers.
I don't know. Teach is a weird one. I think it's still reasonable in this meta.
I would move Teach to A and happily like squeeze Lin lower. Like I don't have a lot of faith in Lin as a deck. I have faith in people doing bullshit yellow. I think Goofy is definitely top 32 like viable. We're not running into like a grip of leaders where everything buffs themselves to 6 or 7,000 power. It gets to spam board very quickly. It gets to freeze stuff. I don't think Goofy really falls out of the meta.
Well, the issue is like it is like what I've understood, it's not very good into the back, which is weird because
I don't know. I haven't played it, but
which
like
to me that's weird because I would think with my experience so far, I've been be able to overrun Zabak.
yeah,
But
I would imagine as well that it overruns Zabek realistically. Like, you just spam out a couple bodies that you get to swing with for more than Dawn neutral.
So, okay. So, Ace is probably one of the few in Nell, are the ones that I think the only ones from this set that are worth talking about. Lucy's probably just a rogue winner at this point. Like, I don't think you're gonna see, you might see a top 64, but I don't think you're gonna see a top 32 at this point. So I guess, where do you think these decks go? Like, so I know Nell hasn't really been tested all that much when it comes to the actual, because people are wanting to test the new stuff. We'll see more how it actually pans out in a little bit. Where do you think Nell actually is at this current juncture?
I think there are a couple matchups that are like a little bit more annoying to deal with, but I don't think it falls from being a good deck.
Yeah, I think it's either here or top of A. I can't imagine.
No, I think it's definitely still
S.
If we're putting other decks in S tier, I don't think Nell falls from that same rank.
Yeah, that's basically.
I think there are other things that are as good as it, but I don't think it's worse now. Like, the deck didn't get worse. Some matchups just got harder.
Yeah, and I mean, a good pilot is going to eventually learn how to pilot around that.
I just watched Aaron TCG on stream the other day, and he ran like 18-2 with a Nell in 17. So it's like, I'm not that level of player, but like watching someone who is a good player pilot the deck correctly, like, yeah, it's still a good deck.
I agree.
It's still a pretty fucking good deck, you know?
Yeah, so I think this is looking pretty good so far based off of how I would think it would look like, especially. I
disagree with, like, Kaido, but whatever.
I mean, we could put him here.
Like,
I think he's better than Luffy.
I think a Kaido will pop up in top 32 the same way I think a Linlin will pop up in top 32. But
it'd be rare.
I'm not expecting it to be like, oh, 15 Kaidos popped up. Like, it might be like one Kaido and like one Linlin. I'm expecting way more like blue-green Luffys for sure.
Yeah, I would think this one might show up quite a bit because, for one, it was cheap when it came out recently, and some people might not be able to get a hold of OP17 cards, that much of it, by Coliseum. So maybe they resort back to a 17 or 16 deck.
That's not going to be a problem. People who are actually competitive are going to have the cards. Like, that's going to separate the people who are like really committed to doing well from the people who are just going because they got in. The people who are like consistently topping probably already have their OP17 deck built. Like, a lot of people have connections, and a lot of connections already have like OP17.
That's fair.
Which is a shitty thing to say, but
I guess wouldn't surprise me, because you see those Whatnot streamers already having access to OP17 and cracking packs.
I know of someone. I don't know him directly. I am hopefully going to meet him in Dallas this year, but he was talking about like having maybe already pulled the Luffy crew manga. So like, people are definitely already like opening the set. And to be fair, we're only at this point, like, I've been seeing people opening the set for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks. We're like a week away from pre-release right now. So like, it's not absurd that people are getting, like, as of this very second, it's not absurd that people are getting stuff like a week earlier than they should. It's bullshit. It shouldn't be that way. But like, the people who are very dedicated to this shit and like are ready for OP17 aren't gonna struggle. They're not ordering stuff off of TCG Player hoping it comes before September 14th.
It definitely is fair. 'Cause, like, I think it is a little crazy. I think they need to switch who they have distributing their stuff, because I know there's a lot of complaints about one of the two for our area, as if they've like cracked boxes and then gave them like basically tampered with boxes and stuff like that, supposedly. So in they're selling it to whatnot streamers for content purposes. That's not shouldn't be what a distributor does, but maybe.
Well, it's not really like the distributors selling. The distributors just send their product to whoever purchases from them. Like beyond that, it's not on the distributor whether they're sending it to a store or a whatnot streamer. They are just sending it to a customer. And technically, they're supposed to send it out to the customers at a certain time so the customer absolutely has it for the pre-release/release of the set. So like it doesn't fall on the distributors that some people sell on whatnot have deeper pockets. Like it's a shitty thing to say, it's a shitty way that everything works, but it's just money in the machine is all it is. Like it's not like a distributor is not like, oh, fucking Kyle Gregson is a whatnot streamer, so let's send him 100 cases. They're like, oh, Kyle has $1 million and he's buying $1 million worth of product. Let's make sure he's up here on the list. Whereas people who are spending $500,000 are here on the list. It's just like money really greases the pockets of distributors, and the more money you have, the better you can do and the quicker you can get your product.
Fair. Um, so I may be crazy for saying this, but I think Dofi is in a very good spot. Like honestly, I've since this now they have the new 10 drops, the Linlin and the Blocker Kaido. I think it addressed a lot of its issues, and I honestly think it's better than Black Yellow Teach. You can have at me in the comments, but the leader ability is just better with Doflamingo because it's better to Dawn -1 than lose a card advantage.
Well, you rarely just lose a card with Teach because the card that you redirect into usually draws you another card. But in the same sense, most of the things that you redirect into with Doflamingo ramp you a Dawn back. So you're losing less with Doflamingo. Doflamingo also has a better spread of things that it can do. Like teaches a lot of 1 cost, and then it's like it has 1 4 cost. It gets to run Borsalino. It has 1 6 cost. It has an 8 cost, and it has a 10 cost. Like it's not super diverse, and it doesn't have a lot of like meaningful bodies to play and swing with. So it doesn't really get to be aggressive. It just gets to like stall until the late game.
You're not wrong, because like now people are actually getting off of 8 cost Doflamingo, and they're switching more towards for one, they're trying out the Yamato, the 3 cost Yamato ramper. So that way they can double and facilitate faster into a 10 cost, which is interesting. So like people have been trying all different kinds of cards in that package, and it's interesting to see what this deck can do. I think people have just chalked it up as a worse version of Teach and kind of thrown it away, but I think it's getting some of its pieces. The fact that it had a horrendous top end 10 cost that was not very good into the last meta. Actually, now it's kind of addressing that with the new cards it's got. I'm just going to throw that there. I know it's not going to be a deck that you're going to see a lot of. We might not even see it at all in the Coliseum.
I don't think it's like... I don't think it's worse off than it is. Like, it's for sure better. But one, like, even if you're incorporating these new cards, you're introducing a lot more bricks into the deck.
That is true.
for sure. Also, like, do the cards that you're introducing into the deck really do anything in the meta? Like, actually? Like, comparatively, 10 cost Dofi would probably be better into Zabek than Linlin or Kaido. Realistically. But, like, that's just into Zabek specifically. Ace is a little bit different because their bodies just like scale up. But like even so, 10 cost Doflamingo is probably better into like Ace than Linlin or Dofi. Except once you play any of your top end bodies in Dofi, Ace just gets to shit out their new gate. So it's like I think you're maybe not even favored into that matchup, possibly. I don't know. I do think, unfortunately, Red Green Luffy needs to be higher up. I think not a lot of people are like, I don't know, testing it or believing in it, and hopefully it dies off. But that's like one of the strongest decks.
Yeah, so that's.
I think Foxy is also like top 64.
Yeah, so I just was just.
It's certainly better than Rogue Winner at locals.
Yeah, I was just putting them a rest of rough estimate to start the conversation. This is probably all we need to talk about. Unless there's an honorable mention leader you want to add.
Not really.
Okay. So, not this is Boa. I think it's still probably top 32. Could be down one. I do think probably Luffy probably is coming up to A. I don't think it crosses the S tier. What do you think?
No, I think I don't necessarily agree with like S tier being top 8, A tier being top 32. Like I'm disregarding the top whatever next to the rankings. I would agree that Luffy is like A tier. It is a very very good deck. It's probably outside of like Teach being the deck that hard counters it. I think it's probably the best deck in that like row.
You think it's better than Sabo?
That's tough to say, but I think like perfect curve, yes. Like you see stage on 2, you drop Usopp on 4, you drop Sanji, or you drop like Luffy into another Usopp on 6. Then on 7, you get to drop like your Zoro. Like I think so. I think it's probably better than Sabo. I think the only deck that really like hard counters it in the A tier is Teach, just because you get to shut off Luffy like leader effect.
I think technically Kaido would be good into it as well. Typically, it's bad into purple.
So, well, to what degree?
Typically, as long as you're swinging 9s or above, like
when are you doing that?
So let's see. So by turn here,
ideally turn, by turn 4,
you will have your first 10 drop down.
So you're getting one swing per turn in.
Well, you're going to be chaining your 10 drops. So I mean, you probably would have having what by your 8th turn,
right?
You're going to be swinging quite a bit of 10s.
What's your first 10 drop that you're dropping?
Most likely Blocker Kaido.
Oh, cool. So all of your bricks are still
I guess it depends on the situation.
All of your bricks are still bricks, and you've established one blocker. Cool.
I guess it depends on the situation. If you have
anyway, no, the Kaido blocker is the better of the two.
Well, I mean,
the
it depends.
Other one
if,
is
if
kind
you
of
have
ass.
If you have Sanji or if you have Usopp that are must enter targets,
you're going to.
You might play the 10 drop to remove one of them too.
Like realistically, you're going to see both of them. You're going to have at least one Usopp, maybe 2 Usopps, a Sanji, a Luffy, a Zoro, like, and then like say you do drop your 10 drop, whichever one. Say you block or you play the blocker out, they just play out Truth Nuke Luffy and they minus it down to fucking nothing, and then you either lose it by blocking or you don't get to block with it.
That is true.
Like I could see, and like Kaido's effect isn't even like that good into Luffy's board. Because like Luffy's smallest character that they give a shit about is
5.
Usopp.
Yep.
So say you swing into the Usopp, you reduce it. That's just 2 Dawn off of leader effect to counter out of that, essentially for free, because the Usopp restood those 2 Dawn anyway.
Yes, that is true.
And that's like also if they don't have a Nami blocker out, or like I think that's the only blocker that they run, right? Just the Nami.
I believe so.
The deck is so defensive, or like they could even Charlestone, you know what I mean, and then Reese
and
and
also,
Dawn
I guess
off
it
of it.
also isn't factoring in my math. I guess would be I'm not factoring in the new Nami. Do they play that new Nami? So that way, technically, if you do reduce something of theirs to 0, they could just let you KO it and they rest the Nami instead.
I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen a lot of Red Green Luffy in testing.
I don't think I
Like
have either.
I don't think there's a reason not to, but like what are you gonna cut out of the deck for it? It's another card that you can't search off of your Nami searcher. Like I know you can still search it off of like Stage and Bonnie, but you can't search it off of Nami. Isn't it a 2K?
Yeah.
So like you would want to swap one of your other 2Ks. So like I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure some lists will run it, but I haven't seen like a smattering of red green Luffy's in testing, so I can't say yes or no on
Yeah,
that.
because they never played Laboon, right? At all.
Oh no, they do.
They
totally do. Yeah, lists right now in 16.5 run Laboon.
So the question is, would you replace Laboon for it?
I guess you could. Technically, like you could at least, in the sense where like you can't protect Laboon, you could technically protect the Nami.
But then again, I guess at that point, would you really play that new Nico Robin over? I mean, the new Nami over Nico Robin 3-drop? Because
the Nami's like a 1 or 2 drop, isn't it?
3.
It's a 3, so I guess like
You
probably not. And then again, it's like, what are you cutting to even put in? Because most decks don't run that Nico Robin.
I guess Nami has a unique effect where it is even outside of the scope of an opponent's effect, right? Because just attacking into it, KOing, still triggers that Nami.
Yeah, it does protect from any sort of KO, right?
Yeah, so battle. So that's what makes it kind of interesting.
So like I could see it being played, but I could also just see it being a win more card. And like the specific situation that we've drummed up, like sure it's generic for any battle, but we're specifically talking about into Kaido, and I don't think you have to worry about your board that much into Kaido.
Well, I mean, it'd be more of a lot of purple decks now play Linlin. Kaido, Dofi, Katakuri, and Foxy all play Linlin, which reduces it to 0. So, I mean,
But, like, if a purple deck is dropping Linlin on their first 10 Dawn turn, I'm not really worried about it. And if my opponent is dropping their 4th 10 cost in a row, they probably win the game regardless.
That is true. Okay, so looking at the rest of B. So, what do you think? Is Rosie still playable?
I have no idea. That's
kind of why I have him here.
That's certainly a question. I think it's better than a lot of other yellow decks, but I don't know if it's better than other stuff. Like, I don't know. Theoretically, I don't think it would be that crazy into, like, Zebek, because they kind of tap out at, like, 6 or 7 costs. So, like, the first time you drop a Stussy, you're just removing off, like, one of their most important swings every turn. You could bait a block from like a Rosy Law and then just play a Shiki and swing into it. Worst case scenario, it dies. Best case scenario, it's a card that can't attack and they just took a life. I think it might be good into Ace unless Ace is running like Roger, which I don't know why you wouldn't run like a 1 or 2 of Roger.
Fair.
Just because, like, again, as I said with Ace earlier, I'm pretty sure the one reason that Ace is like super viable is because you get to utilize the 10-12 rush earlier in the game, but you don't get to do that in that matchup because they're not playing a 10k body. Their shit stalls out at like 8k or 8k with Rosie, Law, or Sakazuki.
Yeah, it makes it pretty awkward in that matchup.
Because, like, I don't think there's a universe where Rosinante runs the Lin. I think that's, like, too intensive when they could just run Sakazuki.
Yeah, that would be insane. I mean,
And, like, Sakazuki is searchable. It's Navy. Lin is just a super top-end unsearchable brick. So, like, I don't see that being the case.
I agree.
So, like, I could see it performing. Like, I could maybe even see like a really good pilot squeaking like a top 32 or even better maybe, but I would comfortably put it in like B tier just until the meta like shapes up a little bit more. We're still we're in a spot in the meta right now where you could get away with playing green yellow Yamato because it's the beginning of the meta and aggro does really good into the meta because no one has figured it out yet. So like, what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead and finish up with Rosie.
I was just gonna say, like, until the meta like actually shakes out, it's hard to say where some of these like rogue decks really fall, because it could be that like Mihawk doesn't end. Mihawk is going to be insane. Like, people are going to play it. But it could be a situation where like we expect Mihawk to be insane, and then just no one runs Mihawk, and it's like, oh, because no one runs Mihawk, now this other deck gets to be insane. So rogue decks are like, they can fall anywhere on the graph depending on how the meta shakes out.
Yeah, so like some of these can come up to B and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
The depending on how this top part kind of fluctuates will determine that. Where do you think Kata falls?
I think it's like fine in B tier.
Yeah,
I think in 16 it's maybe like high B tier, maybe low A tier, but it's another deck that I consider like kind of rogue. It's, I wouldn't say it's like not consistent enough, because it is very consistent. I just don't hold a lot of stock on it into like some newer stuff. Also, doesn't it kind of get hosed by green?
No, it's the opposite.
It does good into Mihawk?
Yeah. That's one thing the category does good at. It's really good into green. It's like one of the few purple decks that really does well into green.
That's strange. Have you tested it much in 17? Because I feel like even on like the top end, it's gonna get smacked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because like they play the Shanks and you're like,
yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how actually that pans out. Like, I don't know if they would ever go back to the 5k counter event to be able to play around the Shanks, because you only really need to survive one turn with that. But we'll see. I do think like having one free counter per turn is kind of nice, especially into that. But at least of now, before Shanks, it's pretty favored.
Where is your active Dawn coming from? If you're playing like your Lin on 10, or you're playing like a blocker Kaido, or I guess the blocker Kaido resets one of the Dawn, right? Or is that the other Kaido?
Well, that's only on your turn. If you use this defensively, we'll go.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. How are you setting up to have one Dawn active?
Well, it's not active
for the counter event and utilizing.
Yeah. So you can do it with Kaido, right? You could use it by swinging the category.
Is that the blocker, or is it the removal one?
The blocker one, because you go down one Dawn from your leader effect, and you get that right back active. You could restand another. So I was testing this with Jack in 17 with Nor Beam Sword, just because you can get 2 back, and then Nor is really good no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, I think slow beam sword is probably better than the 5K event. Also, the 5K event doesn't get you out of a Shanks attack.
It can get you out of the other ones. You just gotta pray that you don't that little life total around that point. But yeah, I mean, even you would argue against with Shanks. I guess depending on how many bodies they have, will determine if Nora
Right,
would
because
help.
like Mihawk is trying to scale and the lists that so like they've probably established like Mihawk, Odin, 7 cost Shanks, and then like
The 10
the
cost.
10 cost Shanks.
Yeah.
That's like quite a bit to like deal with. Because Mihawk really has started to snowball mid game because of that because of the 6 cost Mihawk. And like
Yes.
their draw power is kind of goofy as fuck. It's so good.
You're not wrong. The Wano package is quite good when it comes to card draw.
hmm I think Foxy, like, okay, hear me out. Um, amazing. I think it's gonna dog on some shit. It kind of hard counters Kaido, Linlin, and Rocks, but I don't think it's better than like a top 64 tier deck.
Yeah, I
Like
think
I think it's a B tier deck, but I know that it counters a handful of decks in the meta.
yeah. Um, it doesn't really counter this. Doesn't counter this, but it does counter. As the back.
Like it kind of counters everything a little bit just because like you get to keep the leader rested, and like in the meta right now we don't have a leader that can't attack. Like Shirahoshi and Vegapunk are like the weird anti-Foxy leaders because they can't swing, so you don't get to, you know, freeze their leader, but it doesn't matter because they're not swinging anyway. But like every other leader does get a little fucked by Foxy,
Yeah,
but like those leaders, Zebek, Linlin, and Kaido specifically, get super fucked. Rocks, like Zebek, probably the biggest Foxy victim I've ever seen. Like you're getting one leader effect, and then the rest of the game your shit's frozen.
and the saddest part is Foxy does even pwn some of the. You can't attack leaders. Poor
Yeah,
Rebecca. Poor Rebecca never stood a chance. She
yeah,
rests. She rests to use her ability, and then she never
yeah.
restands ever again.
True.
I was just thinking about her because I played her last week with the brand new uh, Stusty because she kind of cooks with her. But yeah, what's a use leader ability? Foxy just keeps your leader rested, so you can never return and bounce your Kyros, replay your Kyros, and discard a card. That's kind of rough. But I think Foxy, if in a good hands of a good pilot, I could probably see it come up. Which is like I said, this tier is more for you might see it in 64, but rarely you might see it in 32.
Yeah, like I think it probably sits that like a good player can probably top 64 with it for sure. Like I would not be surprised seeing that. But I would be like I can also confidently say that like hey, it would not be insane for it to place better than that even.
Yeah,
Cuz like we've seen weird decks top in metas that they weren't expected in before.
yeah,
So
yeah. These decks are here. They're not. We're not saying that they can't top 8. It's just very rare. It's even
it's
less
just
likely to occur
we'd
than that
yeah,
A
we'd
tier.
more likely see them where they're put.
Yeah, and I have Nami here just because if you think you're gonna just stop testing against Nami, you think you're okay. She's gonna probably show up to Coliseum. Let's be real here. Some people just have that thing blinged out and spend thousands of dollars on it. They're still gonna bring that deck to it. So definitely still get your rips in. Make sure you're still reasonable into that matchup and not kind of rusty. That's more why she's here. Like she's just a deck that you have to know how to pilot into. Um, Same with Ace. That's why I'm in Rogue. Winner at locals. I don't necessarily think he's going to be at the tier probably to show up the Coliseum. We shall see. But Smoker, low key, is cooking. I had a blast with this leader. Then again, you could argue everything it does, Mihawk does, except you get to play red, which to me makes it slightly better. I know, that's only if he was a 5 life leader, and then we would be cooking. But I just love Smoker. It's a very fun deck. But anything else you got to say about these leaders? I have these two down here just because they're recent and they're still, I should say, this is not really recent, but it's still semi-playable. But I doubt you'll see either one of these two decks show up. Maybe we'll see Sengoku show up at Coliseum. Because
I mean, I don't think they will top, but I think people will take it.
Yeah, I mean, they want to test a new Aramaki. Aramaki is interesting. I'm just not sure how I feel about him. I do think he's better than Kuzan. I could be wrong there, but
isn't Kuzan the one that makes things not a blocker?
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that. Doesn't Aramaki also not ramp you a Dawn back?
No, but he draws a card, and he also himself is a blocker. And then he is a blocker himself. And then he also, of course, he could pop 2 small 2 cost. So that could be relevant into Luffy and relevant into Goofy. But I rarely played him for the popping effect. The card draw actually was kind of nice since you go down 3 cards in hand. But I could see your argument. Not getting the Dawn back does make it a little bit awkward. So it is a little bit worse if you don't have Sakazuki coming down with them, because then you don't get to ramp back some Dawn. But yeah, so
I don't think, like, I don't know. I haven't tested with the Aramaki. The card draw is probably good, but like, I don't know how much getting the Dawn back specifically that you get off of Kuzan is like relevant. But like also Aramaki being a blocker doesn't matter that much. I guess it's cool that you don't have to Dawn -2 to make Orso a blocker, but or Dawn -1, whatever
2.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Borsalino's -2, which is one of the arguments why I said he's not that bad, because if you do play him out and there is that turn you do want to block, then he's just better than a Borsalino, because.
But like at the same time, he's really
-1.
He's really not, because you could just do the Borsalino effect, Dawn -2, and then on your next turn get those 2 Dawn back with Sakazuki anyway.
I mean, so it's you're always gonna get your Dawn back with Sakazuki, but you're right. Technically, he would be a Dawn -3 in that instance, because you Dawn -2 for make it a blocker, but then you might Dawn -1 because you want to draw the card. So
I don't know. I bet there's probably situations where both of them are valid.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Aramaki's probably around the same power level as Kuzan, in my opinion, but right now I have it a 4-3-3-2 split, just because I want to make sure that I have a diverse amount of the Admirals. Hopefully they give us Isho, and he is cooking fully then, but until then, a little awkward. So, is there any other leaders you want to talk about? Because I know you said you want to get off pretty soon.
No, I don't really have anything else to discuss. Meta's very new. I don't have a lot of testing into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how this pans out. And then again, I guess I shouldn't say interested, because I feel like I'm less interested in this meta than previous metas. But that's just me.
No, I feel pretty much the same way. I'm not that excited for it.
I'm not either. I mean, I like Ace, so I'm probably that's the deck I'm going to be piloting for any major tournament. We'll see. I have to get my rips in with the deck and see how I feel about it, but I feel like that is probably the deck of my choice, if it is really that good with the new gate and all of that. But if not that, I will be rocking Whitebeard. That's because I think it's better than what I think people are leading on, but that's just me.
Maybe. I don't think it has legs to really stand on, but like comparatively to other decks that are just better. but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, what is awkward about it, it does play a little bit more bricks. I probably want to adjust the numbers of that because that deck doesn't really play. I guess it still does technically play the 5-drop Ace, but at the same time, it doesn't play as many AK bodies as Ace does, so it doesn't really get as many 2Ks off the Ace. So it's a little awkward. People argue that the big difference is like having a consistent 7K leader with Ace is better than having a, maybe 3 turns, in a row where you're an 8K lead, because Luffy's like a lot more consistent. But
you're also, like I said earlier, your opponent can just play around you getting the new gate out early.
well, then you just spam Josu's, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess. Sure. Just like not a bad card, but
Yeah, it's sad that they had to lock him. But then again, I guess if they didn't and he was playable in Ace, Ace would just be even way better.
I think Newgate has some really like cool cards. I think the 4-cost rush character Ezo is sick as fuck. I think that card's just absolutely crazy bonkers.
Odin's fun too.
But like other than that, I don't know. It's just something that gets to do a rad beam once per turn.
Yes, but when you get to that point of the game where I faced an opponent at least once, he made a comment in the chat. He was like, he started to add up all of the counter that I have available because the leader and being an AK lead already. He was like, I can't even swing because I can easily get out of like a 15K attack. And he was like, okay, go ahead.
But if a deck could just outgrind you, you're not doing very well. Like there's a lot of decks that can just outgrind or put blockers up to like not give a shit about you being 8K. Or there's just decks that like scale, like
I mean, I agree. I mean,
playing an accurate size body every turn.
Because I mean, at the rate that Newgate can be an AK, it's at the same rate as Roderick that can be a 9K body. It's not as, it's just probably not consistent enough to be playable. Potentially, we'll see.
Like I think it's gonna be a playable deck. It's not gonna be like shit dog water unplayable. I don't have a lot of stock in it. I think there are better decks to run.
What I think it makes it awkward is the fact that it didn't 100% stay with the same path as Ace. So like now it wants to have a split margin of potential 6K bodies and 8K bodies because they still want to play the the new gate, 8-cost new gate. Mm-hmm. So they still wouldn't have enough for that. But at the same time, Odin cheats down to 6K body. So it's like there's like that weird.
Oh conflict. Yeah, that Odin is really cool.
Yeah, having a 8 and a 6 for 7 Dawn. I think it's better than Odin, but that's a different story. Odin's pretty cool as a deck too. But I think we're just rambling at this point. Let's go ahead and get into the closing. Any shout outs, anything like that coming this week for you?
No, not really. Not a whole lot going on my end.
You're going to be doing any early streams this week, or is it just strictly...
Early streams didn't take off. Life's hectic. I gotta like get back to just regular streaming, honestly. I've been very not motivated.
Is it the set or is it just life?
Just life.
You could just have a One Piece fatigue burnout.
I don't know. I have life fatigue. I'm figuring shit out. I don't know. I'll probably stream this week. But, if I don't, I don't. I'm not making any promises. I play One Piece when I feel like playing One Piece, and if I want an audience, I'll stream it.
Well, then you always stream when you play One Piece. You do love your audience. Not gonna lie.
I do love my community. I absolutely do not stream all of my One Piece games.
I guess that's fair because your community is usually awake at 3 a.m.
Some
or
of them.
yeah, or earlier, or or later, I should say, slightly later than that. So
I
yeah,
mean, more so, it doesn't have to do with my community. It's that like sometimes I don't want to have to like be in like I don't. First off, I don't even think I'm that entertaining of a person. But like I don't always want to be on. I don't always want to like explain why I'm doing a certain play or like what's leading me to think about the decisions that I'm doing because sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just jamming games or sometimes I want to play bullshit and I don't feel like recording it. Like, I don't know, sometimes my social battery just isn't at 100% and I don't feel like interacting with people.
that's fair. There's plenty of times where I get lost and just playing the game for fun while I'm streaming, and sometimes I don't talk through my plays. It's the same principle, I guess, in that
See,
regard.
for me, like, yes, but it's the opposite. Like, I'm playing, like, when I'm running games on stream, it's for a purpose. Like, I'm not necessarily having fun, I'm making content. Whereas, like, if I'm off stream and I'm just like, jamming bullshit games, I get to just have fun and do whatever I want. And, like, sometimes I do that on stream, but it's not viable content.
Fair. I guess what I was saying more like when I stream, I'm literally talking with chat, having fun with chat, and less so actually the game. So then I forget to actually talk through my plays because well I'm trying to entertain the chat. So I'm just like, I don't know if that makes sense at all. Or sometimes I'm too lost in headbanging to my music. That's a different story. We don't talk about that on this channel. But yeah, for me this week, I will be streaming a little bit this week. When it comes to probably less deck lists, because I did do a decent amount of decks last week, more than I should. So I'll probably do Zabak this week, just because. And then I probably honestly just gonna shove on my channel Black Luffy and Linlin in one video together, just because I don't want to play enough with either one of them. So I just play like a couple games with both of them and shove them into one video, because I don't really, and Shanks too, all three of them. I have no desire to play a full video for them. Maybe that's just because I just don't really care for them. I find them, all three of them, boring, in my opinion, like design wise. Maybe that's just me. How do you feel about the design? Like, do you find that boring, interesting design for the leaders as a whole?
Are you talking to me or are you
Yes,
talking to
you.
chat?
Yeah, you can let me know in the comments.
I think Luffy's kind of boring. It's just another blocker deck. Shanks is green. I don't really.
It's Bonnie 2.0.
Yeah, like worse Bonnie even like. Bonnie at least like runs the like card package that I like because I enjoy supernovas.
That's
but
fair.
like I don't know, I'm not very big on like resting stall stun bullshit. I have like an aggressive play style.
I agree.
So like I'm not super big on green in general, and I don't think it's necessarily like the meta for Shanks. I think we have to be in like a little bit of a slower like building up to play one big guy per turn meta. And then like Linlin is, I don't know, I think it's bullshit. I think it's a super not fun leader design bolted onto a bullshit package with very underwhelming trigger bodies who eventually stack up to being okay.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting when it comes to the next few weeks, or when it comes to competitive play. Like, how often is she going to be winning by overtime? Just because she has more life.
But like I never let Linlin heal, or at least I'm never giving Linlin the option to heal off of leader effect. They have to hard play characters to heal.
Yeah, that's like my main concern about her as a leader. Like, how many overtimes is she going to create because she just gains so much life?
I think only bad players who don't understand how to play into the leader are going to come down to situations where they lose in overtime because Lin has a bunch of health still.
Fair. I typically let him heal until I get to the point where I have my board, and then I switch gears and I start trashing.
I'm letting them rip cards out of my hand from their 3 Dawn turn. I don't give a shit. I can't be scared of a Yonko when my pirate captain is going to be the king of the pirates.
That's fair. Me, it's like I just don't want to be taking them ripping that one card that I'm wanting to play on curve.
And have higher gusto. Be better. Just know that they're not going to rip the card. Or have like multiple plans on what you want to do. Adapt to like the game plan, you know what I mean?
Fair, the heart of the cards.
I want to say this is coming from every single time I play into Lin, they rip every single card that I want for my next turn. I've just given up on giving a shit, and I still win.
Yeah, I mean, because if they don't have that much life, all their counters 1Ks.
A lot of their counters are 1Ks. They have to utilize playing one body per turn because, like, the cheapest heal that they have is a 5 cost, or like they're turning their board sideways and then I just clear it on my turn because everything's a 4K body, or they only have 1K counters. Like, it's, in my opinion, very easy to deal with. Like, especially playing like a toolbox deck like a Nell. Like, it can get away from you, but like there have never been more games where I'm sitting at 4 or 5 life and my opponent has like 3 8K bodies to swing on their 10 Dawn turn. And like, that sounds scary, but they're at 1 life, 2 life maybe, and I have a full board, you know?
I mean, honestly, from my experience so far, even when she's sitting at like 6 or 7 life, I'm not even scared.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because I just go, and she's down to like 2 within a matter of a turn, and then
and like, what's the worst that happened? They just triggered out a bunch of bodies that didn't do anything on play.
Kinda, and they're just 1Ks in hand, and
and like sometimes they'll even like not trigger a body because they want to play that specific body on the next turn, and it's like, that's even more value for me. I don't give a shit. That means you have to waste your whole turn to heal 1 card. Sure.
Yeah. Unless it's literally a 10 mom. Why would I care? Like,
and like, again, by the time they play a 10 mom out, I've probably beat them down to 1 life. So like, they have to heal or they're dying on the next turn unless they can lethal me. But it's very rare that I'm in a situation where I'm getting lethaled when they play a big mom.
Yeah, it's also awkward because a lot of times when I face Big Mom, they can't even turn her sideways because they only have 1 or 2 cards in hand, which are both 1Ks. So it's not that hard to get rid of the Big Mom.
There have been times where I was testing the deck and it feels more awkward to play out a 10 cost than anything else. And that's crazy. Like, sometimes you just want to utilize your Dawn and you have better things to do than play a 10-12 that does one effect or the other. Yeah. I will say the nifty thing about 10 cost Big Mom before I have to sign off, because I have to go in like a couple minutes. It does draw a card. That's cool. I like that it replaces itself.
Yeah, but she should have honestly just not had the that claw. She should be able to just do all 3. I mean, because if you compare to the...
I don't think it should have been able to draw a card, boost bodies to 8K base power, rip a life, and heal. I think that would be too much. Like, it does 3 different effects for being a 10-12, and like, the game has progressed to where that's like not insane because none of the effects are overwhelming. But if you made it where she ripped a life and gained a life, on top of replacing herself in hand and making all little bodies 8K, it would be broken.
What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. Any comments or any questions you have for us, let us know in the comment section. Hopefully we keep getting a little bit more good feedback, because I know you guys have talking about, you guys love our dynamic. I mean, I agree too. I mean, look at this guy. Oh, I'm kidding. Not really kidding, but we'll talk to you guys next week. We're not really sure what we're going to talk about exactly just yet. Of course, we're going to look more into. Hopefully, we actually have a guide of the matchup spread next week. But we'll talk to you then. We'll also probably talk about pre-release next week. Then again, that should have been this week's episode. We should have flipped these 2 weeks, shouldn't we? Talked about what cards to look for pre-release for next week. Well, we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.